Hey guys, welcome back. This is going to be a little bit of a different video. Yes, I'm at a different angle because I'm sewing on the Pioneer Woman, so I'm filming two videos at one time. I was tagged in a video by Miss Kathy of My Hobby Home. I have tagged her several times, talked about her channel several times. Girl, she got me, she tagged me, and it is a Q&A. So we're going to watch Miss Kathy and answer some questions.
Been tagged by Tammy, the Siberian Wind quilter here.
I'm gonna have to look her up because I don't know her.
My name is Kathy. I am a quilter, cross stitcher, crafter.
She's extraordinary.
I have 10 questions.
10
that
questions.
I have to ask, that I have been asked, and I will give my answers to them, and then I will tag maybe one or two quilters in them. Actually, I know who I'm going to tag in them. Shannon with Moodygirl Creates and Kiera with Kiera Osborne.
I don't know her either.
I'm
going to
tag them two in this. So let me get on into my questions. What is your favorite color? Blue, obviously. I like pink too. But
my favorite color, Miss Kathy, is actually there's two. I'll tell you my absolute favorite first is purple. It's purple. I love purple. Any shade of purple. My other favorite color is aqua. And I love those two colors together. Like any shade of aqua, light, dark, like a dark teal to a sea foam, like greeny aqua. Those are my two favorite colors. And I love those two colors together. Okay, let's answer the next question.
Fabric designer. Corey Yoder and Joanne Figueroa, I love anything they do.
Who's your favorite fabric designer? I'm going to totally agree with Corey Yoder. I have fallen in love with a lot of her fabrics. I've even gone back and watched a lot of her older videos and seen her older lines. Absolutely love. Wish I could get my hands on it now. You probably can find bits and pieces on like Etsy. But like Peachy Keen, I just got the Jolly Bar and Peachy Keen. Just got a ton of fabric in the Starberries, so we can do the sew along. Of course, you know, Lori Holt would be up there in my top 3. And then probably like Sherry and Chelsea. I love all their stuff too. And I love how each of these designers, you can mix and match their lines to make something new. So if you got some of last year's fabric left over and you get some of this year's fabric, they'll still go together. So those would be my top 3 right now. Corey Yoder, Lori Holt, Sherry, and Chelsea. Oh, wrong camera.
Everything I've seen that they've done, I love. So those two. If you have a snack close at hand while sewing, what is it? I don't snack while I sew.
I don't snack while I sew either because I am a klutz and I would end up getting whatever it is I'm snacking on all over my hands, all over the fabric. You guys know I keep a bottle of water or a cup of coffee and it sits over there so I can't knock it off while I'm sewing. And here's my mug of the day. I always show you guys my mug. I'm keeping a pin because I keep pinning. I got my quilt laid out on my bed back there. So we are sewing our rows as we do this. I thought I killed 2 birds with 1 stone. But let's see what the next question is.
Water. That's the only thing that I have in my sewing room. I don't have candies. I don't have that. I don't do that while I sew.
I don't either.
What is your favorite go-to blog? It seems I've been doing a lot of things with half square triangles.
I agree. Like my favorite thing to do with leftovers, like scrap, half square triangles, and then like 2.5 or 5-inch little squares is what I'll try to cut out of my that line didn't line up as good as I wanted, but I'm not breaking it loose. Half square triangles, because there's so much you can do with, I mean, there's hundreds of different ways you can put half square triangles together to get a block. So yeah, probably half square triangles. I agree.
And I'm getting really good at them. So, but I don't have a go-to block. I like to try everything. What is your preferred fabric cut. I prefer a fat quarter, but most of the time my pattern.
I love fat quarters too. You guys see I buy a lot of fat quarters and I hoard them up. I just like buying a lot of the different patterns because that's what I'm a visual person. Growing up, and this will come up in another question, like I drew, I painted, charcoal, watercolors. I'm a very visual person. I love design, like just looking at fabric and seeing the different designs. That's why I like the batiks. It looks like watercolor that is just bled out into each other beautifully. But I don't really have like particular favorite. Fat quarters, jelly rolls, charm packs. Those are my favorites because the less I can cut, the better I am. Now that my hands are acting up, I am using my new cutter. I love it. But the less cutting I can do, the better I am because I'm terrible at cutting. I usually mess something up when I'm cutting. And any of the pre-cuts, charm packs, jelly rolls, layer cakes, fat quarters. The less cutting I have to do, the better. Next question, please.
Most of the time, my patterns that I do call for more.
I'm gonna scoot your head.
Or a jelly roll. I love a good jelly roll.
She's still going on.
My favorite fabric cut. What TV quilter personality, past or present, would you like to meet and spend time with? This is so easy, y'all. Eleanor Burns.
I don't know that person.
She had.
I'll have to look her up. I remember growing up to Nancy. Do you guys remember Nancy? She did more clothing. There was, because for a long time, all we could pick up was PBS. We had TV antennas, my husband and I. We couldn't afford cable, satellite, nothing like that. We had rabbit ears, and we could watch PBS. We could watch like 3 and 4, 13. We could watch CW. So PBS, but there was Nancy, and then there was 2 other ladies, and I do not remember their names. It was years and years ago, but I would watch them quilt on TV. So right now, it would have to be, I would pick probably Lori Holt or Kimberly Jolly, because Kimberly just seems so, like, just in her name, full of joy, happy, full of information. She just seems like she'd be a wonderful person to be around because you feed off other people's energy, and she just seems so full of energy and fantastic to be around. I mean, it could be the opposite because I don't know, never met her, but I like to find out. And Lori Holt, again, she seems so down to earth and just so full of quilting information. Those 2 for sure I would like to hang out and meet. Okay, next question.
Thing on PBS for years.
See, I ran home and watched Bob Ross.
She did a quilt in a day.
I would run home and watch Bob Ross.
She's done. She's fabulous. I remember her because when I was younger, my grandmother and them would watch her. That's easy. After my bedtime.
Oh, okay. This question was, when do you prefer to sew?
That's easy.
I like to get up 9 o'clock on my days off, 9:30, get a couple tasks done. Like this morning, I ran to cotton quilt, come back home, already did my face before I went to cotton quilt, got everything out. It's laid out on my bed. It took me a hot minute to get the layout the way I wanted it, and something wasn't coming up right. And then I remembered I had 2 extra blocks because it only called for 40, and I'd made the whole 42. So I was like, why is my thing not coming out right? I had 2 extra blocks, and I'll probably make a pillow out of those. But I like getting up early, and then I sew all day. Because I feel like if I start on something, and then I put it away, when I come back to it, something just doesn't go right. Something's not matching up right. So I try to get whatever project I'm working on, if possible, done in a day. So if I'm sewing all the blocks, I try to get that done in a day. If I'm putting the quilt together, I try to get that done in a day, which is what we're doing today. But I try to get everything done in one afternoon, one evening on my day off work. Next question.
After my bedtime.
After her bedtime. Girl, I'm in the bed.
I need that shirt that says I quilt after bedtime. Where do you store your fabric? Anywhere I have a spot.
She is so organized. I need to get these containers.
As organized as I am, I have baskets and bins. I have this bookshelf here. I have a book.
She's the same way. I'm going to flip you guys around this way. Ignore my mess. It's not too bad. But this whole shelving unit, except for the top shelf, which has my soap cutter. I'm going to tip you up and you'll see my lights. There's a soap cutter up there, a few other things. But everything else down through here, it's all fabric. It's all fabric. It's every bit of it's fabric. And you guys know, I gotta watch my iron because she is hot. I'll move her around so make sure she doesn't get cool. I like to put my fabric in totes like she does. And I've been buying the shoe totes, but I really like the ones that she has because you can put a project in there too. They're bigger. Or I put them in Ziplocs and then they go in a basket. I do have pets. I know you guys see like kitty cat hair floating around in my videos. There are 4 that come in and out. Right now, Lulu is the only one in the house. Sam ran his butt outside and now he doesn't want to come back in. And he's been outside for a week, but he's staying around the house. So we've let him stay out there. He's 13 and he's never really been outside unless he's on a leash. And he has just been crying to go outside. So we let him outside and he's being a good boy. So he's staying outside. But yeah, all my fabric is back here. I have projects and like scrap back here on this table, which I need to get organized and get rid of this little table. And then I have like scrap and a few finished like small tops in these bins back here. This over here is all my soapy stuff, soap and candle. And then there's a roll table right here that's got more soap and candle stuff in it. But that's my craft room pretty much. Next question. I keep wanting to hit this one and I can't. I'll turn you off.
Shelf here. I have a bookshelf over here.
Okay, I'm going to scooch her up.
I'm looking to see what these are all fat quarter yardage and my layer yardage in here that I have project. How long have you been sewing or quilting for? Well, sewing, I've been sewing for 43 years. Quilting, I've only been quilting for 1 year.
So she's about the same as me as far as quilting. Now, I made a quilt, made 2 quilts many a year ago. The one that I still have, and I do still have it, if you were to look at it now, it is probably a crazy quilt because like seams don't match up. There's random things. There's applique things on there. It's just randomness. And it's what I call like a summer quilt. I did not put batting in it. It's just the top and the backing. And then after that, I made my grandmother a very small quilt, but I embroidered this big center block in a basket, beautiful basket of flowers, all hand embroidered. And then I did 4 patches all the way around it. And I had little buttons in between like the center of the 4 patches and tied it together. That's how I put it together. And that quilt got missing. We had a lot of shady people that would come into my grandmother's house just because of family that would bring them in. Let's put it like that. And things would go missing. And that was one of the things that got missing was my grandmother's quilt. Never found it. That really makes me sad because I loved that quilt and never found it. But those were the first 2 quilts. And I made those on a really old machine that we had found, I think at a yard sale or something. My dad had found, I don't even remember where we got it, but I just remember it was really old machine. And I don't have that one anymore. I don't remember where we even got it, but it was old. And I have been like really seriously quilting and learning to quilt now for about 1.5 years. I'd have to go back to the very beginning of the channel to see when 2 years ago. It was 2 years ago because that's when I made my string quilt. It took me 2 years to get my string quilt done because I was collecting fabric. So 2 years I have been quilting and I still consider myself a beginner. I'm nowhere near intermediate. I do try to do something a little bit more challenging. Like this time I'm doing a quilt that's on point. Never done one of those before. So I do still consider myself a beginner, even though I've been quilting for 2 years.
But it has been fabulous. So, do you prefer to press seams open or to one side, and why? To the side, to the dark side.
To the dark side. To the dark side.
My fingers.
I also press to the dark side. I don't like seeing that shadow. Like if I'm using a white or a cream or something light, I don't like seeing that little shadow underneath here. And I know sometimes you have to. But if I can get away from doing that, I will. And sometimes the fabric itself will decide which way it wants to go. Like if there's a lot of seams, it's going to want to go out. So sometimes I just let the fabric decide which way it wants to go, and that's how I press it. If there's pressing instructions, I try to follow the pressing instructions. I rarely press open. Only if like a pattern recommends it, I press to the side. Next question.
Can't for some reason get it to separate.
And you burn your fingers.
I prefer to press to the dark side. I'm going to ask is, what is the most used notion in your sewing room other than your seam ripper? So guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm trying to do this under 6 minutes. So guys, there you go. I am tagging Shannon with Moodygirl Creates and Kiera at Kiera Osborne. So guys,
I'm gonna have to look at Kiera.
For your time. Have a good day.
All right, Miss Kathy. So the question I'm asking you, because it seems like everybody's adding like a question at the end, their own question. Do you listen to music when you quilt? I will come in here and I'll put my phone. I have a music list that I have made on, and I was listening to it. It's right here, music. I was listening to it before this, and I put it on shuffle, and I will listen to music when I quilt. Now, my taste in music is very eclectic. It goes from 50s rock and roll to like 80s, 90s country to 80s hair bands, 70s rock, a little bit of maybe rap. I'm talking, when I say rap, I mean very, very little, like just a little teeny tiny bit of, it's not even rap. I don't even know what, or like Genuine Pony, a little bit of R&B, I guess would be better, not rap. Eminem might pop in there. That's what I'm saying. He's really the only one I listen to is Eminem. Have you guys heard his new Houdini song? But yeah, do you listen to music? And if so, what kind of music do you sew to? All right, guys, that is it. Thank you, Miss Kathy, for tagging me. I am going to be tagging, and I just had my paper with their names on it, Sweet Home Sewing. I just found her, and I come to find out she watches me too. So I'm going to tag Sweet Home Sewing and Holly from Miss Dandelion Stitches. I hope you guys do this tag. I'll have all their information and Miss Kathy's down below, so you can go follow them, give them a thumbs up and a share. Give this video a thumbs up, hit subscribe, give it a share. And guys, we hit 7,000, so I am gathering things up for a 7K giveaway. So just be on the lookout. It's not going to come up anytime soon. I've only bought a couple, like one thing for it. So just give me some time, and we will do another thank you giveaway. That's it, guys. I'm going to continue sewing on my Pioneer Woman, and you can catch that video as well. See you on the next one.